just living my life, just living my life, just living my life. Just living my life, just living my life, just living my life. It's my time. Just living my life, just living my life, just living my life. It's my time. Just living my life, just living my life, just living my life. It's my time. I came from Philly, then I moved to Harrisburg. Spent time in Cali, blowing on the rarest herb. Made some bread, was a manager then. Good at dealing with people, couldn't handle the pen. Money had me scrambling like Randall back then. Ups and downs with my chick, hard to handle it, man. What's the dough really mean without family and love? Still go for your dreams, but put family above all the shallow shit. People try to take you off your path, you don't allow that shit. Stop wanting love from those that don't know you. Appreciate your folks that seen what you go through. Why would I stop? I don't even know how. Papa Zan, that's the only way I'll slow down. I could entertain y'all, but I'm no clown. Puff and puff on that L till it blows down. Just living my life, just living my life, just living my life. Just living my life, just living my life, just living my life. Just living my life, just living my life.
The Wicked Turtle Boys are back. Here we are. What'd you think of Vito?
It was good. It was good stuff. I like that.
I relate a lot to some of those lyrics.
I'm a fan.
I that's why I picked it, man. I like
was
I don't
it
know.
the part about popping a Xan, or
that's the only way I slow down. I work too hard. I'm moving. I'm always going. You know what I mean? I can't even stop now. You know what I mean? Like, I like it. Like,
I'm living my life. I love it.
Live your life. Keep people around you that are good around you, and the people who fucking are nonsense, get away from. They're good. It's good. I like it. It's very fitting to me as a person in a way. The second verse is even better. So go check it out. Links are below if you want to check out the rest of the video stuff.
Spotify?
For sure.
Yep, Spotify. He has YouTube videos. He's really good. He's a good guy.
I do the Spotify.
He's going on my list.
Yeah, he's good. So welcome back, boys. Last time we had you guys on was banging beers.
Yep.
We did bang a little bit of beers.
You banged
and we
all
had fun
the beers.
driving home, by the way.
Yeah.
He's hammered still.
It was pretty good.
Oh my god! Don't tell me that.
It's good stuff.
So
You're not supposed to leave here drunk. That's the rule.
No. We
PSA
we felt great.
don't
Okay.
drive and drink, or vice versa.
Yeah. I got that from them, right?
What?
The whole drink and drive thing. Except I said, yeah, maybe you should drink and drive. Somehow I worked. He's like, dude, you just told everybody to drink and drive. I was like, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Well.
I try not to do it.
Won't be the first. Probably won't be the last.
It has happened, we'll say, but I don't do it. I don't make a.
As long as you don't get caught.
Yeah. We had a couple beers. The one before we did the Penguin Eats. Spoiler alert behind the camera when we guest spotted on not Penguin Eats. Food review. Food review.
You're right. Penguin Eats.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, Penguin.
Penguin does a lot of things.
Penguin's eating.
things.
He's getting healthy.
Yeah.
As he's
healthy,
eating.
then I'm getting unhealthy.
Isn't that
I'm
way?
wrecking cars. Yeah.
But yeah, so
Cooking.
Just a black cloud of Wicked Turtle.
so my review of that taco may have been skewed because everything tastes better after 4 or 5 beers.
Fair enough.
But that was really delicious.
It's all right. It's
a
fast food.
It was the toasted cheddar.
It's fast food.
It is fast food, but it makes up 75% of my life.
That's why we're
And
doing.
my weight.
That's why we're doing penguins is dieting or whatever.
like water.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not talking. I'm chubby too. I just started my DDP yoga.
You're doing really good though.
I'm trying. I've been doing a fasting. Just on weekends, I get
It's hard.
crazy.
I have this theory that you don't have to lose weight; you just have to buy bigger clothing.
Yeah.
But I'm hitting the limit, so I'm gonna have to start losing weight.
Are you trying to promote the
eventually.
two shirts idea?
Yeah.
We should all just go buy DDP yoga, or
Right.
we can do stuff, and then we'll do we'll motivate ourselves.
we go.
We'll have a DDP yoga chat, and we'll just
Why don't we just call
DDPY
DDP to tell us to sponsor us?
yeah.
No, that
I
would
want
he
a
won't.
free.
He's too busy wrestling right now.
Trust me, I've put the word out there. It's not happening.
He knows one of the trainers of
Really?
DDP yoga.
I'm not putting that over. Not anymore.
They would look at us and be like, "We need to get these guys on the show. They would be a great."
We're actually the example. Me and him are the example of why we should have DDP yoga.
Yeah.
I can barely walk and
I
yeah.
barely breathe.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
I walk upstairs to change my T-shirt, and I come down and I'm like,
I count those as steps.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you guys like everything you hear, check out the links below. I'll have all their stuff there. You can check out their Facebook, YouTubes. They do a lot. The Wicked Turtle Network and the IwEP Network are like...
We're everywhere.
We're family. We're definitely family. We're connected. We're one and the same. We motivate each other. We help each other. It's kind of like being the elite, man. We're part of it, you know. That's it.
Please call us.
This is our family.
I love the elite.
This is our family.
We are our own
that
version.
should be a T-shirt. Like
we are our
family
own
elite. Family elite. Oh,
we are our own version of
new
the
merch.
elite.
Yeah, you put both our logos together. This is our family. That's a good T-shirt.
We'll meld
I
it.
like
We'll meld it together. It'll be
Yeah,
great.
I'm with it. You can sell the shirts. You can make the money.
Oh, cool.
We need it.
Thank you.
I mean, I need money too, but I'm sitting in a good spot.
I mean, speaking of shirts, I mean, you do have that Savage Grind one. I love that shirt.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So your gram is hilarious.
Thank you.
Very not PC. So if you're easily offended, don't watch granny videos.
I mean PG.
Do not.
PG. Well, PC culture.
PC, yeah,
PC,
public
yeah.
or
Yeah.
politically correct.
Yeah, she's
Politically
definitely not
correct.
politically correct.
She's definitely not PG either.
No, she's fucking amazing. She's not amazing. Like, she is amazing, but she comes from a time where people didn't give a shit what they said.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
She's a great woman.
Censored.
Yeah. So there's a video out where you dye her hair blue.
I did. Yeah.
Did you like that?
It was funny. I felt all right. I'm gonna be like,
There's mixed. It's a mixed bag on there. 'Cause
really? I haven't heard the negatives.
I've
I'm
had
torn.
some people that
I'm
has
torn.
seen it that has said, "Why would he do that to his grandmother? That's kind of ignorant."
Wow.
And
like elderly abuse.
I said, "It's
Tell-
ignorant, but
Yeah,
it
it kinda
is
is, yeah.
funny. Like
Yeah.
it's hilarious."
Well, try
It's all about
growing up
comedy.
how I grew up, and then tell me I'm wrong.
Well, I always actually correct him and say, "Well, it's not blue anymore."
Yeah.
So
yeah, it didn't
was
stay.
only for the
It didn't
video.
stay.
It didn't stay blue very long.
It didn't stay blue very long. They went back
we are
and changed
human
it.
beings. Wicked Turtle are human
Yeah.
beings, and we do have.
You can
consciences.
look at it negatively, and like we have to understand she is in like a vulnerable space as far as like dementia and such.
Yes.
But knowing her growing up, she's totally into being able to laugh at herself and
Yes.
laugh at everything else while being savage as fuck.
Yes. So the cool thing about her, like actually physically meeting her, and obviously the dementia thing is there, but in a way, those interactions stick in her brain. Maybe as positive or negative. At first, it was probably very negative in her brain, but when I went up to her at the show, this is a woman who also has, dementia.
Yeah.
And I went up and said, "Oh my God, you're famous from your blue hair and you're on T-shirts." And it immediately brought her right back. And then instead of being something as she thought is a negative thing because they dyed my hair blue, she was eating it up. She's like, "I'll sit wherever I want. I'm famous. People know me."
Yeah.
And then every time I walk by, she'd like wave at me and stuff. Like she ate it up. She loved it.
Yeah.
And if that's a way to trigger memory and trigger interaction, that's good.
Definitely. I
Yeah.
agree. I love the way you put that because
Yeah.
it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
You just
the people.
you just squash the haters right there, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's why
At first, I felt bad because you could tell she was legit upset her hair was blue. But that's part of a prank. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, you have to accept that. That's your reaction.
Did you like my
I-
little advertisement I did with that video?
Which one?
The Savage Granny video. It was in the Christmas episode. I cut it up. He gave me the footage. I cut it up so it wasn't so long. It was like 8 minutes.
You cut out the best part though.
I did only because a lot of it was very, very savage.
The very end was the best part.
Yeah.
I wish I had a gun.
No, that was the ending of the video.
But
I was
you-
like, I wish I had a gun.
But you,
I would kill you.
yeah.
I'd blow your ass
blow
away.
you.
I didn't want to put that because I'm good.
That's the best part.
Because I was trying to make it more of a Christmassy happy video, but I put an advertisement.
let's say you fucking fruitcake.
Yeah.
And it's your picture going like it's your
Can't
picture
say
going
that
like
anymore.
this.
I don't know where you come from. No, but like my cap to that whole conversation is really the way you put it is kind of beautiful. I'm glad that people are able to like look at her and laugh and then approach her and she loves that.
She does. She
loves
ate
that
it up.
interaction. And
So we took a picture together. Her giving me doing the middle finger.
yeah, she absolutely adores it.
Yeah.
And these memories, they actually do kind of stick. Those positive memories are more lasting with her than any of the negative stuff. And you got to know that the negative is prolific. Like, there are moments where she can't control certain behaviors and she can't control her memory. Like, it's really sad right now, getting to a super serious note. Today, she was arguing with us because... well, she thought she had to go to her mom's house for Christmas dinner, but her mom died before I was even born.
Yeah.
So, like, it's very emotional at times, but when we can have those happy and fun moments, Those are
Yeah.
the ones
The
we
fun
fight
moments
for.
were the best. I think that's where I kind of fell in love with her because we went to actually a WWE show and we took her there, and she kept saying, "This is like one of the best moments of my life." She loves Roman Reigns, by the way.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Most
"This is
women
one-
do.
This is like it's one of like the most best moment of my life. I love it." We went and had Arby's afterwards. Like she was like,
She's a sweetheart.
she was just having so much, and it kind of. He kind of teared up a little bit because it's like, yo, this is awesome. This is something I want to pay back to her. In her older years.
My whole network started just meeting, listening to a podcast called Story Corps, and it was just people sitting down and talking their stories. And I was like, man, I've always been obsessed with people's stories. You know what I mean? Like,
me too.
and I'll listen to that all day long. And then it wasn't my first episode, but it was the idea that wanted me to spark my episodes. Was I sat with my gram, and I just had my gram tell the whole story, how she was growing up, when she met my grandfather, when they started their family, how the family got. She had 7 kids, and then those 7 kids, like, I'm part of a pretty big side of the family because of her. Like, she's generated 3. She's around for 3 generations of her lineage,
right?
Which is not often that happens. You know, she's a great grandmother, and she still bowls 2 times a week. My grandma's savage in her own way. You know what I mean? Like,
awesome.
And that's like, and honestly, maybe quality wise, microphones and equipment, it wasn't the greatest episode, but I have that forever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's something I've wanted to do with my grandmother, but like
it's hard.
Unfortunately, it's too far now to be able to get all that information in. But it would have been nice.
Yeah. But and one of the things that I took away from that. Like, I remember driving home from work, and I was just, I was literally on the way home crying my eyes out. Like, if people, like, remember the old Dane Cook skit? He's fucking crying! That's probably what people thought. Because I was listening to these stories, and they were super powerful. And one of the things I got out of it was, you can be around someone, like a grandfather, a mother, a best friend. Like, I had a friend who I lost due to drugs, overdosed. And it's still there, but it's slowly losing. So you can remember their face, you can remember memories, you can remember moments, but one of the first memories that you lose of someone is their voice.
Yeah,
how someone sounds.
Absolutely.
So I only had like 2 pictures with this person. So like and then after that moment when I lost him, people were like, oh, you're the selfie king. Everywhere you go, you're taking selfies with people. And I have slowed down with it, but I was like, yeah, because I don't like, I've made connections, and I like remembering those moments if it's a stupid funny picture, it's just fun. Like, and that's stuff that I want to cherish.
You want to remember the good times.
Yeah. And the podcast world is amazing for that, where I can sit down and sit with some friends and make new friends, and those memories are locked in, and I can go back and listen. Like, hey, anything can happen. We can get in our cars right now and never be around again. You were in a car accident. You know what I mean? Like, it's scary, but
get into that.
You know what I mean? But like, that's the reality of a world. You're never guaranteed tomorrow, and you never know what's planned for you. But it's nice to leave behind that.
This is a good segue, actually, because
you have kids. Like, your little guy can go back and listen to 2 years worth of content.
In the beginnings of what we do now. This is before I met the Watt. I actually had my own thing. I called it Penguin Rants. And I would just get on like Facebook or YouTube and just turn on the camera and just start talking. I didn't care how many views I got, how many people listened. It was my type of therapy. You know, I would just sit there and I would just, whatever's on my mind. And like I just said before we went on the air, that I was just uncensored. I didn't care if I swore or whatever. I just started talking.
Yeah.
It was my way of like just communicating to people. I mean, I was married, I had a wife, and I could have just talked to her about those things, which I do. But it was something else because I moved to a new city, a new town. I didn't know anybody there. I came from being on drugs and alcohol and completely just stopping all that, not having any friends, getting all those bad influences away from me. So I just turned on the camera, and that's when I just started talking. And you know, there's some times I would go on live video and I would have my mom on there, so I still have some of those in my den to this day. My mom suffers through the same thing that his grandmother suffers.
Oh, dementia.
Yeah. She's in early stages, but it's hard because she can't remember anything, and she keeps calling me my dad, who got killed who was killed very young.
Really?
I was very young. I was only like 3 years old.
Wow.
By a drunk driver, and you know, she brings him up and she calls me Petey, like that's his name. His name used to be Pete.
Do you look like your dad?
Huh?
Do you look like your dad?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Exact replica. In fact, that's why I think a lot of my family members hate me because I look just like him. It's like it's like they're talking to him like
a
all the time.
reminder.
Yeah, a reminder.
Yeah.
But that starting out in the days of before I even met him, that's just how it was. It was just my depression and I can't say I was like super depressed, but it was just something that I needed as a way of form of communication. And that's when I turned to like this, like video work and being in front of a camera. Not to mention that I also own a business on the side that actually produces money, Inspired Images. I don't want to plug, but yeah.
Plug that.
No, that's photography, like photography video.
My wife does it.
Yeah.
We actually had a studio downtown in Lebanon. We started doing out weddings, and we found out, oh wow, we can make $1,000 doing this. This is great. So I started doing those.
I'd be so terrified.
I hate it.
I'd be terrified.
I'm gonna let you know right now, it's not my favorite thing to do. I love doing Wicked Turtle. I love creating content creating.
Yeah, because if I fuck up my podcast, I'm like, hey guys, I fucked up the podcast. Can we record
You mess
it?
up a wedding,
Right.
they're gonna stab you in the back.
They're not going to redo their wedding.
Right. Yeah.
That's so scary.
Very scary.
Yeah.
What I do with weddings is, and it's a pretty cool format where I film all the important stuff, the dances, the ceremony, and stuff like that. But then I take their wedding photos that my wife does and put them in there and gel them in with music and stuff like that. I always ask for like 10, 11 songs so I can like do your movie in like a soundtrack.
I have a really funny story real quick.
Go ahead.
I saw the guy in the comment who hated on me. Not hated, but I got a treat if I don't let my guests
By
talk.
the way,
enough.
not sponsored by Popeyes. We just love
I wish. I need a Popeye. I need to try a Popeye sandwich. But
bring you one
yeah,
next
I got critique saying I don't let my guests talk enough. I tell too many me stories. But
Go ahead.
They're fun. That's the part of a conversation. This is not an interview. It's a conversation. I should have changed. The name was a terrible choice in the beginning, and I'm just stuck with it. It is what it is.
Call it Everyday Conversations.
Yeah, it should have been conversations with everyday people. That's
you
what
go.
it literally should have been. But it is what it is. I'm not changing now.
No, you already have a name.
We're too deep.
You already
I paid someone for a logo.
Your soul was already spent, bro. You're dead.
But yeah, I have a friend from Brazil, and they got a wedding video done, and it looked like it was produced by MTV. It was fucking incredible. Like, it looked amazing. And their song that they played for most of it was Bruno Mars, but it was the one where I should have bought you flowers. It was a breakup song.
God, yeah.
But they speak Portuguese.
Wait, what?
So they don't understand the concept of the song.
God.
And they came back and so they showed us their video of their wedding, and I'm like, Thiago. And he goes, what? Because his English is better than his wife. She's slowly learning. I was like, you picked a breakup song in your wedding video. He goes, what you mean? I was like, that song is about breaking up. It's about not getting together. And he goes, oh, fuck me. Because they love Bruno Mars, and they just heard the slow ballad, and they thought it'd be a slow, like, Tears in Heaven.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I mean, like, but that's about dying. But yeah, a kid jumping out of a window, right?
So jumping off of that, this guy videos me a couple days ago, and he's showing me this wedding video he's making. And to the video, it's Garth Brooks' "Friends in Low Places," and I'm like, "That is not
They
the
picked
song you think it is."
It was a campfire scene. They picked it.
But I'm like, if you really think like ruin your black tie affair and all this, like, I'm like, no, this is about a dude who can't get over the chick that's with the other dude now. This is not the.
It's a rebound
for your
song.
wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't listen to country.
Oh man, I grew up in Alabama a little while. So
Ooh,
yeah,
how'd that work out?
Oh, I mean, I know quite a bit of country, and if you hit me in the right space, I will bust out a country accent uncontrollably.
Really?
It is hilarious.
I'm slowly getting into a little bit of country, but like I like Chris Stapleton. Because I don't like the twangy singing.
I
don't
can't get into any of it.
I'm like,
Chris Stapleton has a great
I grew
voice.
up-
I'm
I
old
grew up in
school
the country.
and I'm all Lil Nas X. So
I like him. He's cool.
He is
I like
cool.
him. What's that dance song that they have now? Do you two-step and do you dare? That was cool.
That's the one that's a
You get the
meme now,
voice
right?
really
isn't,
good.
isn't it a thing where people do a dance
Yeah.
and film themselves doing
The best part
it's a
of-
TikTok thing, isn't it?
The best part of the country this year, last year, 2019, is that the two top country songs were done by a gay black man
Yeah,
and a black guy, and a black guy who made a dance song out of it.
Yeah.
Like it's,
I mean,
and country people were like, "This is not fair."
Yeah, listen, if you go into country and,
like-
say gay man in front of them, that might be a problem.
I love it. Yeah, I like black country.
yeah, Black Country's the best.
Yeah, it's fucking-
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Listen. There's a reason why that we that white people steal from black culture because it's awesome. You guys you're amazing
facts. We've been doing it forever.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop.
It's not. No, we're gonna rip from each other all the time. But you guys are good at what you do. It's entertaining. You have fun when you do it.
Absolutely.
And I want to have fun, so I'm gonna do the 2-step and dip now.
Nice.
Sounds really good.
It's awesome, and the dance is amazing.
I've seen what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a dude. He hikes up his red little shorts, like his shorts,
I've seen this.
way
I know what
up
you're
to his
talking
thing, and he has big cowboy boots on. He just like dances.
It was a gay guy, right? It was a gay guy, wasn't it?
Probably wasn't gay.
Yeah, I saw this one gay guy who did it. It was
Well, we're white. You're white, so
outrageous.
you think anyone who dances good is gay.
Right.
no, absolutely not.
Because you're white.
Back in the day, I used to be the best dancer.
Listen,
Oh yeah.
I have
Holy
a
shit.
lot of qualms with the whole gay thing. Not in a bad way. It's just sometimes.
Are we gonna talk about this?
Listen, sometimes I see a really attractive woman and it turns out to be a guy, and I'm just like, fuck it.
Andy Hedder looks great as a woman.
He does. He does. He confuses the hell out of me.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very good at putting makeup on. You know what's funny? When Andy sees like girl wrestlers, he's like, I hate the way she does her makeup. I can't argue with him because he's good at doing his own makeup.
True facts.
Yeah, Andy's amazing. But yeah, the history of the. We got a little bit of it, right? In Banging Beers, not too much.
No,
Yeah, we didn't get deep.
Yeah, we
could
go
get
deep.
I mean,
We can get deep
We were
today.
thinking about like kind of. That was the deepest thing I've ever heard from him about his journey. So I'm excited to hear a little bit more.
Let's have open moments. Let's cry.
Oh, what more deep stuff?
No,
I just kept-
your journey until we met, and then we'll stop, and I'll give you my journey through life a little bit.
I just kept doing it, and then I started doing. And I changed it to. No, we did ransom.
Can I ask a question though,
When I came
without
back
getting
to-
personal? Like if you don't want to answer, like you said, you were into drugs and alcohol. What were you into?
It wasn't deep drugs.
No, you were just smoking pot.
I was smoking a lot of weed and drink. It was more drinking than anything.
Yeah.
Weed was okay. Drinking.
Listen, I'm
not
gonna be
so much.
honest.
I was drinking a lot.
I only drink because I like craft beer, but I don't get hammered
You
off
drink
it.
with friends.
Yeah.
That's what's cool.
Yeah.
But I was going, like, at the time, even when we moved to the new city and stuff, that I went back in Lebanon when I first moved there, that I was going to bars after work and I would get totally trashed to the point where I knew that red meant stop on the stoplight and green
So
meant
that's
go.
that. Here's a psychological thing. So you lost your father to a drunk driver,
Yeah.
but still drank and drive.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No,
I don't drink anymore.
I have another
barely drink.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy.
But when I do, I can pound with the best, just to say that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I go hang out with friends and like we're at like a party and they're like have Miller Lite and Coors Light and they're like we're gonna drink all night and I was like,
That's not me.
and I was like, can I get a beer that's actually strong so I can keep up with you guys? They're like, why? I'm like, because you're gonna drink 4 Coors Lights and be smoked, and I'm gonna drink 4 Coors Lights and I'm gonna be super hydrated.
Well, mine's different. Mine would be shots. I do shots.
I
I'm a
don't like
shot
liquor.
man.
I don't fuck with liquor.
I'm a rum and coke guy all day.
I used to be. The hangovers in the morning. So, like, here's the thing: when you do rum and cokes and you drink rum and coke all
I
night
bought
long.
stock in Gatorades at the time, so we were good.
So you drink rum and cokes all night. I don't drink anything else besides what I'm drinking, right?
Yeah.
So beer is fine if you just stay with beer. But if you're drinking rum and coke and you're drinking the sugary soda, that's where your hangover is horrible in the morning.
Diet.
Yeah.
I always drank diet.
Well, the Splenda or fake sugar is just as bad as the real one,
Yeah.
if not worse. So, but that sugariness is what gives you the hangover. That sugar, like when you have a night where you're like, so if you pounded a whole bunch of Red's Apple Ale, really sugary, fruity drinks, and then the next morning you wake up and you're like, oh my god, I feel like death. It's the sugar mixed with the dehydration of the alcohol.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Cool.
but so
Yeah, I mean that alcohol was probably the most. I mean, I didn't seek help for it. I just basically just stopped. I said,
Yeah.
I came to a point where I was like, all right, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Like, this is dumb. I shouldn't be doing this stuff. And then I just came to now I don't drink.
Were you with
ever.
your wife at the time?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my life has been.
How long have you been with your wife?
Oh, man. Don't hate me, wife. Let's see. We got married in 06, and we were together, I'm going to say 13, 14 years
This
now.
dude got married the year I graduated from high school.
06.
How old are you?
I'm 38.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
32.
Me too. 32.
I'm the old folk.
You are the old guy, and you probably look younger than both of us.
It's not true.
Oh, no, you
de-
definitely do.
I feel 60, trust me.
I'm right with you. How
I feel like
feel.
I'm 60 years old.
I remember when I met you, I thought you were like way younger.
Yeah.
Really?
I honestly, just until
You're
you
also
said
in the
how long,
gym.
like
You
when
should
you
see
got
me
married,
without the goat.
when you just told me that you got married in that age, I was like, oh fuck, I thought you were younger than me.
06, yeah, we got together '02 we got together.
Wow. High school sweethearts?
Yeah, well, we got together at first, and then there was some separation, and then we got together a second time.
Always happens.
And then
happens to the best of us.
That was it. I mean, she's the best of me. I mean,
Yeah.
She's the boss. I call her the boss because that's what she is.
Yeah.
I give her all my money. I say, here, you just handle my life.
That's what same thing.
Here's all the money. I'll make sure it's there, but
My
just
wife-
make sure I get a nap and I'm good to go.
My wife gives
Cool.
me, like, my bank, my direct deposit goes straight to her account.
Oh, I
then-
sucked on my own.
And then she gives me an allowance until next payday.
Nice.
So,
Because I spend too much.
So what happened was when my father passed away, all right, when he got hit by the drunk driver, we sued the insurance company for that.
Yeah.
So I got an annuity for the rest of my life. I was allowed to get. I'm not going to get. Well, maybe I should. $2,100 a month. That's what I get. Okay?
Nice.
So, giving that amount of money to a kid.
Oh, you're going to ball out.
It's like when I was 16, they're like, here it is. And I'm like, wow, okay, well, here's a Camaro, and here's... oh, by the way, my dad was... My grandfather, who I call my dad...
It's amazing that if you would have lived where we live right now and you were $2,100 a month, you would be on heroin. It's amazing that you didn't go to harder drugs. At 16 years old and had that kind of money?
I didn't like it. It's an experiment. I just didn't like it, you know? I was like, no.
Yeah.
When there's ninjas up on the roof, no, we can't do this. Because if I see that normally, I'm like, oh, okay. What's up, ninja?
Yeah.
But if I see that and they have gold teeth or gold backpack, I'm like, no.
No, you're just in a
This
bad
drug
neighborhood.
isn't for me.
They're crackheads. That's what that was.
Yeah, but, you know, I was like... I called my grandfather my dad, and he was the most influential in my life. Like, he taught me all the manly man stuff, you know, like slamming the beers and going fishing and hunting and
I didn't get any of that.
making the stew, you know. How to wake your son up in the morning when it's time to get up to go to school with cold ice water over top of your head going, you better get up or this is going on your head, type stuff.
Yeah, my dad was a firefighter. That's the manliest thing I'm not picking on my dad, but that's the manliest thing my dad did. Like, that's my dad's hero thing. Like, he was a volunteer. I guess I get a lot of that too, where I'm like, I don't care about money. Yeah. Like, if I make money, like this podcast, like, I'm not doing this to get rich or famous. I'm really not. I do it because I enjoy doing it. I like meeting people. I like making content.
I do this because I love it.
Yeah, it's therapeutic to me. It 100% is therapeutic to me. This is my therapy session. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, but my dad, like, wasn't a mechanic. He didn't fix stuff. He didn't build stuff. So when it comes to that, like, they're like, do you know how to change a tire? I'm like, I could probably figure it out.
My dad was a
Pay
cop.
somebody to do it.
Yeah, like,
My grandfather was a cop.
yeah.
Yeah, so trying to be high around a cop is very hard.
Yeah.
I'd be like, why do you smell so good? Oh, I was with a girl. It's like, mommy. I wasn't. I was with a bunch of dudes. We were gonna.
I like when you're like, do I still look high?
Yeah.
Oh no, I would keep extra shirts in my car, and then I would put it on a clean shirt so it didn't smell like weed.
Yeah.
It was.
I don't do well with mind altering stuff.
Yeah, it's. I had to stop because the older I got, the worse it got.
My Batman brain kicks in. I have a Batman brain.
Oh, really?
Like, I'm obsessed with Batman for a reason.
Okay.
I have a Batman brain.
What's this?
So when I'm
You turn into Batman.
kind of
That'd be great.
when I'm intoxicated, or like if I did drugs that were mind altering, where I felt like I was high or I was hallucinating, half of my brain is like, this is fucking great, and the other half is like, the Joker is taking over your brain. You'll be fine. Just fight through it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
By the way, great Batman
Yeah, like
voice.
my-
I really like that because
Yeah.
I can't mess with mind altering either. I
yeah,
totally lose
like,
it.
and in my brain, I'm just like, one half of my brain is like, you're gonna be fine. This is not for you. Like, when I go into a room, and this is just how my brain works. I walk into a restaurant or a bar or anything, I scope everything out, and like my computer kicks on, and I'm analyzing people. Like, all right, if I have to get out of here, here's the way I go, and like that's just how my brain
Same
works.
exact way.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's weird.
Especially movie theaters. If people are moving, I'm like, what are you doing?
He hates
Yeah.
when I take my cell phone out. He hates
Well,
that.
no, not that, but
I'll
ever
take my
since-
cell phone out to
ever
see
since the whole
if
Batman
my wife texts
thing.
me, and
Yeah.
he'll be like,
Speaking of that, I just bought the Joker. It's sitting in there. I have to watch. I'm gonna watch. I was
wonderful.
gonna watch it tonight, but I think we're
"Best
gonna
movie
watch.
of the year."
I think I'm gonna watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood tonight.
You will not be disappointed.
Better than Joker?
Ooh,
Oh, that's tough.
There's no way.
If it wasn't a Joker movie, would it be better than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? If it was just a normal guy losing his mind?
Well, I think that's what this is. Did you watch it yet at
No.
all? Okay, well then no. Like even if it wasn't a Joker, it'd be an amazing movie.
Okay.
It's so worth it. But the aspects of the Joker and what we already know, the mind fuckery of him being the main character, so automatically what movies tell you is you're sympathetic to your main character. But you're being sympathetic to a crazy person
Who wants to hurt people.
losing his mind, and you're loving it. And then when he finally snaps, you cheer for him.
Are you talking about the Joker?
Well, yeah, but I'm not giving spoilers. He hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But as a movie goer, he snaps, and like that's the pinnacle of the movie that you want to cheer for him, and you do. And then you've got to analyze
Who you are as a
who
person.
you are.
Yeah.
And if you are somebody who is mentally ill, this movie is incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
What's funny is
That's not even a joke.
That's the reason I think the Joker is such a long-lasting character, is because Joker said it himself in a comic book, and it was put in movies. Is everyone is one day away from being me?
Yeah.
there's also a thin line between crazy
And the reality of that, and you can attest, is I quit my job recently because I was one day away from losing my entire mind.
You only had
I was
me.
sitting in a
When
car.
you lost me, it was a problem.
I was sitting in a car, looking at my job, on the verge of quitting and crying.
What were you doing?
I worked with mentally handicapped people.
This is
Also-
how we met, by the way.
Sex offenders, but they're also mentally ill, so they're allowed in the community with a like a supervisor or whatever.
Chauffeur, basically.
No, I mean,
Were you in the program? Is that how he met you?
yeah,
No,
I fucking love you.
Wow.
So
He's keeping tabs on you. That's what he's doing.
you're supposed
I'm
to
joking.
basically protect them
It's
from
not
the
funny to make
community,
fun of that kind of stuff. Just
but also protect the community from them. But you have incredible limitations due to legalities
Yeah.
in the field. You know, if something happens, you're not allowed to touch them. There's no restraints, nothing, unless incredibly necessary.
It's okay for them to go off on you, but it's not okay for you to
Right.
go off
So
on them.
literally,
I was offered a job very similar to that, where it was
It's rough. It's
where it
a
was
job.
like it was kind of like a house like that, where where all you go in, you don't need special training. Like you can go in and not have like a degree or anything, and all you do is just talk to these people that
train you. They
and you work with like youth. And I thought about it, and I was like,
Youth?
I'm not mentally in a spot where if I get punched in the face, I can't retaliate.
I can do that. I can do that all day.
I have
But
a hard time.
it's the
I would
matter
have.
of-
Now I'm good, but before I wouldn't have.
This came down for me from like I worked with sexually problematic behaviors.
Yeah.
So, one, my life was in danger constantly.
Yeah.
Because this guy and guys and women were going off the rails, and there's nothing in that company to fix that. There's nothing you can do.
You were just kind of keeping them at bay.
Right. And even that was a failure. There's also a thing where the state takes the word over a mentally challenged person over a staff member. And I get there are some staff members who have abused their privileges. But when I personally am getting accused falsely of like sexual deviancy, it blows my mind, because these are lies used to manipulate a staff member to get them kicked out of your house so that they can get another staff member who's easier to
deal with.
manipulate.
Yeah.
Who's more of a tool.
Well,
Like-
most people that, and it's not even like a mentally challenged thing. It's just when you grow up in an environment where you are probably sexually abused, physically abused,
Right.
and you're trying to gain the system, not gain the system, but you're always you get very savvy.
Right.
At
Yes.
playing that's like playing. I'm trying to use my words correctly, so I'm not.
I can explain it, because what happens, and we've seen this just dead on, is you will see people who are mentally challenged find somebody new who they know doesn't know their bullshit and play up even more mentally challenged than they actually are.
100%.
They, like in the movie The Ringer, they know the game.
Yeah.
And it's totally true.
I went to school with a kid who everyone's like, oh, he's bipolar. And they list off his thing. I'm like, all right, cool. It was interesting because he was super bipolar to people if they knew he was bipolar and they weren't taking his shit. And then unfortunately we were in a vocational program, and there was this one kid who was like 6 foot something, 200, 300 some pounds, but not big, as in like overweight. He was a monster.
Right.
He was Braun Strowman. And
they have the strength of Braun Strowman, by the way.
And this kid was bipolar. He would spit on you. He would fight you, and then we're just like, hey, he's not all there. You just got to let it go. And we're like, all right, cool. And he knew that he had a privilege to that. No matter what he did, he had no repercussions to his actions.
Right.
This other gentleman joined our program who didn't care. And he was huge, and he spit off the one day, and he got crazy, and he spit on this kid, and this kid punched him in the face, and his bipolarness went away.
Yeah, there comes a consequence.
Yeah,
that's a natural consequence.
Now, do I advocate violence? 100% no. But
Right.
then that kid stopped playing the same game with me that he played with that guy, because he knew that guy wasn't going to take his shit anymore.
Right.
Regardless of his disability.
And not everybody cares.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna get that person. I've been in this field now 13 years now. I'm still at the same job that he left.
Oh, so you guys were working together?
Yeah, that's
Well, we were,
met.
and that yeah.
Well, so what happened was when
I can rewind it a little bit if you don't mind, or I don't know what you're going to talk about.
Well, do you want?
I'll give the whole situation that led up to my mental break.
Well, can you want me to finish mine first?
I don't know what yours was, so go ahead.
Well, I was going towards. Let's finish my personal stuff first. So we got off track.
Fuck me very much.
Well, no, it leads up to you.
Please do.
It leads up to you. So, drugs, alcohol, father.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go back to that. My father got really, really sick. He died. He basically died in a hospital of pneumonia and diabetes. Diabetes. It was just.
So he didn't die in a car accident?
No, we're talking about my grandfather.
Oh, that's right.
grandfather.
Grandfather, father.
My grandfather.
I'm back. I'm
he
sorry.
was the most influential in my life, to be honest. My real father, I only know bits and pieces of my real
because it was
father.
very young.
Yeah, it was very young. Snowmobile riding and basically, he'd take me down to the store for candy bars, stuff like that. I didn't really know a whole lot of him. My real mother left me on the doorstep to be adopted by my grandparents.
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't even know your real mother?
I do now.
And this is the one that's suffering from dementia.
So what?
Sorry if I'm bouncing around. I'm just trying.
My grandmother was my. It's funny. I
so-
call my grandparents mom and dad
Gotcha.
because those the people that raised me.
Yeah.
My real mother left me on a doorstep after my father died. She left me on the doorstep
With her parents or your dad's parents?
With it's my dad's parents.
Okay.
Yeah, which I'm glad her parents.
You don't really know your mom's side of the family?
No.
Oh.
Now, I moved down to... Okay, so fast forwarding, he went to hospital. With all this money I had, I invested in his house. I bought his house. Mm-hmm. So that basically was like my... How do I put it? Like my vacation house when I first met my wife. Because we moved down this way, because she went to LVC for college. And I got an apartment down here. I had the house up there. So to cut ties, I actually sold the place to a friend of mine. And I actually got a good deal. I actually got my money back and then some. It was a good investment, to be honest.
Nice.
Because it was a rundown house by the time I was done with it. Because we had mad parties. I mean, think about it. Teenager up to his 20s, man. Dude, we had mad parties.
Getting
there.
a nice check.
I mean,
month.
I paid my cousin just to park cars that was out in a field that was right across the road from my house.
Yeah.
We'd have 50, 60 people in that house.
Fancy.
Oh man, dude, I opened up my garage. I turned my garage into like a cool man cave. We had live bands play out there. Like, we charged a cup, like a plastic cup to people. This cup cost you like $10.
Yeah.
But it had a little thing on the bottom of it and had our own little sticker on it that we knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? And then, because, counterfeit. We didn't want people to counterfeit. But that's how we paid for a band. So, it was crazy because we were the only house back in the back until I got arrested. And then we stopped doing all that stuff.
For having parties?
Yeah. That's what it was. Well, what happened was that some kid, it's a funny story. Some kid was grounded and he snuck out of his house and he didn't know that his dad caught him and they called the cops on me. And I was like, that's
because they knew he was at your party.
Yeah, they tried to get me with corruption of minors. Like, no, that kid was already corrupt before he came to my house, so we're good. But no, that's probably like the only charge. After that, I kind of like straightened myself up. I found the woman. That's what happens. I found the woman, and she basically straightened me out, and I saw a future.
See, now that's the difference between you and I. Like, the women destroy me.
Yeah.
Like,
I was going through that too.
Negative behavior, it's just probably because
I was going through that too. I had series of women I dated. The one before my wife was absolutely terrible because she did the same vices that I did. She did a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, and it was just ridiculous. Like that was all our life was made up of. I mean, we worked. Like I've worked every day since I was like 8 years old. I used to go, like, McDonald's was one of my first jobs. But before that, I used to mow grass for everybody around the neighborhood. And that was just basically my business. Like, every time it was time to mow the grass, boom, we're mowing grass. You know, we lived out in, I lived out towards Bedford County area.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but no, women, my last girlfriend was the worst. But then this one that I found now, my wife now, she's the best, and I saw a future with her, and I'm like, yo, I gotta grab this because this is somebody telling me that I'm getting a second chance here. Because if I keep going down this path, something's gonna happen. You know, I'm gonna probably basically kill myself. Basically, that's probably what's gonna happen. I mean, I've had some very scary, deep things. Mm-hmm. Like my best friend, he killed himself. And he put an exhaust tube in the car, and
he CO2'd?
He went that way.
Yeah, carbon monoxide.
And that was very hard on me because we were I'm just about as close to him as I was with this guy. Mm-hmm. He was my family.
Anymore,
he was my brother, you know. And I went through a hard time there. He stopped me from actually blowing my head off at one time. Yeah. Like I remember because I used to be the fat kid in school that everybody picked on. I hated it. I got bullied a lot.
I was a skinny kid.
I always got picked on in school. I was the fat kid in school. I was close to 400 pounds. I was really good at baseball, but I didn't.
Just when it came to running bases.
No, I was actually, dude, seriously, I was
joke.
I was doing really good. Baseball was like my favorite sport.
Babe Ruth was a big guy. He played baseball.
We didn't have football, so that was the only thing I could excel at.
Your school didn't have football?
We didn't have football.
Man, I would love to be part of school that didn't have football.
The reasoning behind that, yet another little side story, reasoning behind that is because we used to have football way back when they had leather helmets. Some kid got injured and broke his neck, and they took football forever from that county.
Wow.
Yeah, it was terrible.
In this area, if you're not part of a football or basketball program, you might as well just not football. Even contribute to the county.
We watched the happiest times of my life is me and my grandfather watching football.
Unfortunately, you had to watch the Eagles.
Oh, well, no, that was a great time, man.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that.
By the way, your kid the other day asked me, "Oh, how'd the Eagles do yesterday?" I'm like, "I don't know. Ask your dad." I don't watch football.
I actually got a Redskins story for you. My dad actually, he taught hunter safety. My grandfather taught hunter safety. One of the was assistant general managers of back when Mark Rippon and them won their Super Bowl and stuff. Got into contact with my dad because he's a Boy Scout, and my dad taught a lot of the hunter safety stuff for the Boy Scout. Well, he had a kid who was I forget, multiple sclerosis. I think he had trouble like holding guns and stuff like that, and like he really wanted to teach him. My dad taught him how to shoot a gun, how to hit a target, and how to actually go hunting. So he brought us down, and we went to the stadium. And we met the whole Super Bowl team, Mark Rippon, all those guys, man.
Good for you.
Yeah, so that's my Redskins story. I was very upset because at the time I was an Eagles fan, so I'm like, oh man, I gotta be here with all these guys. But then I was like,
was it RFK Stadium?
But it was really cool because
it FedEx.
It was the old stadium.
RFK.
Yeah,
I never seen that one.
It was, let's just say, it was cool because at the time Redskins were cool at the time, like mad cool. Now they're like laughing stock of the NFL. But at the time,
not too far.
It's their owner. Their owner sucks. You got to admit it.
He's making good moves though.
Oh, we'll see.
He made really good moves.
We'll see if he can restore that pride. That'd be great. As long as they beat the Cowboys twice, I don't care.
He literally has what he has done now is he has stepped back. He said, "I'm just going to be an owner. I will write checks, and these guys are in charge."
Jerry Jones do the same thing.
No, Jerry Jones, keep doing what you're doing.
No, I hate the Cowboys.
Yeah, I want the Cowboys to not be good.
Be terrible for the rest of their lives. Yeah, but no, that's my story. That's my Redskins story. I had to tell you that because I knew you were a Redskins fan.
Well,
you love the Redskins.
from being from Pottsville, have you ever heard the story of the Pottsville Maroons? So Pottsville had their own pro football team. Really? They were called the Pottsville Maroons.
Oh wow!
They won an NFL championship. They beat at the time they were the Baltimore Cardinals or something, the Cardinals, but they weren't in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
They beat them. But during the year, they had an exhibition game against Notre Dame when Notre Dame had the Four Horsemen and they were running ramshit over every fucking college team, and they beat Notre Dame, which was huge. Like Notre Dame was like they were good enough to beat pro teams at the time. They beat Arizona. Arizona then finds out about this expedition game or whatever. I'm two beers deep, but I can't talk. But they find out about this game and they strip them of their championship.
Oh wow!
And give it to the Cardinals, and it's like a curse because since then the Cardinals have never won another championship or Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The stripping of the championship pretty much bankrupt the team. They couldn't make money anymore. They had a black eye on
This is
them.
Pottsville you're talking about.
Pottsville, Pennsylvania, 15, 20 minutes away. So the team couldn't afford to be in Pottsville anymore, and the owner, the guy who owned them, couldn't do it. Who's actually the owner of his great great grandfather or whatever. The lineage is the guy who I work for now, Empire Beauty School. The team then moves from the Pottsville Maroons and goes to become the Boston Maroons, and then changed their name to the Boston Reds. Then went from Boston to Washington and became the Washington Redskins.
No shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
I smell the doc coming on, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Well, Wicked Turtle should do that, doc. Yeah. let's team up for that.
Yeah.
But no, getting back to my story. I moved to Lebanon because of my wife. I wanted her to pursue her career.
Would you like to try hop suplex, anyone?
Go
So,
ahead.
real quick, as your wrestling fans, the bottle of this is just two luchadors, right? So if you look really closely, the guy has arm tassels, and he has a mask
Are
on
those
now.
luchador hops, by the way?
They are luchador hops. I'll show this on the camera quick, right? So this bottle originally was a hop with Ultimate Warrior face paint on. If you notice, the arm tassels are still there.
WWE came in.
And this hop was dressed as Macho Man Randy Savage.
Nice.
They got a cease and desist letter from WWE and had to change the label of their beer.
Just
ignore
It's
it.
not hard
It's
to get a
okay.
cease and desist from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get cease and desist all
What do you
the
think?
time.
Did you try
All
it?
the time. Oh, I'm good.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
But no, I moved to Lebanon because of my wife. Wanted her to pursue her career.
Photography.
Yeah, well, she got a career in art history. She's an artist. She loves doing art. That's
Did you ever draw you naked?
A couple times, but it's a much bigger canvas. In fact, it came out looking like Cartman.
Actually, it was the inspiration for Cartman.
Yeah, it probably was the inspiration for Cartman. But I bounced around from career to career, doing food, working food, dishwasher, hydroceramic engineer. By the way, that's dishwasher.
Hydroceramic engineer.
Yep.
Like a custodian.
Yeah.
I'm in the custodial arts.
But then I got into dealing with what we were just talking about, dealing with people with mental disabilities, and I was progressing through my career with that, and I became a team lead, and then this guy came on, and then I met this guy, and we had a nice conversation. His conversation was all about, man, I got into PS4 and I have like a list, and then we got to start talking about that.
List will come into play into my story.
Yeah, we got to talking about that, but then I also told him, I was like, yeah, I started telling him about my stuff I do online. Like, I do a lot of reviews, and I started with food reviews and stuff like that, and unboxings, because those are all the YouTube pops.
Yeah.
All the YouTube
I
pops
caught
that you
YouTube
do.
very late.
Yeah, me too. That's the thing. I never really got into it until it was cool, and then it became uncool. And then
I
it was
caught
cool,
YouTube like a year ago.
and then it was not cool again. Like, it has its ups and downs, but it's still, to be honest, it's the number one medium to put your content
I
out
nailed
there.
YouTube when it was just coming out, and this is where my famous milkshake video came from. Do you remember this?
Yeah,
Okay, so it's literally me right before prom
you actually
Stripping.
You're too famous.
in my room to the milkshake song, and like just dancing and like taking my shirt off. I had a fan blowing in the air, and
Like my milkshake brings all the boys.
oh yeah,
Is it
So-
still on YouTube?
No,
No?
maybe, but
You never owned the original footage.
Oh, no.
You said you found it on
I
YouTube.
do have the footage because they banned it in Germany, but I thought they banned it, period. So I just selected a random song that they would just cover it with on YouTube, and it turned out to be this religious song, and it's just really depressing to watch now.
I saw it. It was funny.
But anyway, so my prom date was just like, yeah, you need to take that down.
Are you trying to find it?
Oh, it's milkshake vid, all one word, if it's on there. So milkshake VID. So yeah, she threatened to not go with me if I had not taken that down. So I took it down the day after prom, put it back up because I thought it was hilarious.
I mean, listen, man, the video stuff is... I did it. I did it a lot because I tried to do that whole poppy stuff, like do the food reviews. I mean, because I would always give my own review anyways to stuff without the camera being on. Mm-hmm. So then I said, screw it, let's do this, you know. And then I started doing reviews of other things, and I had a lot of people that would hit me up like, hey, I saw your thing that you did where you did your like little like confession. I call it Penguin Goes Off.
Yeah.
The story of the penguin's funny. I actually got that from my how I became the penguin is we were at a party and I got up and I started like dancing like a penguin, like walking like a penguin, stuff like this. Like, you're like the penguin, and I was like, the penguin. I never really had like a nickname. I was like, all right, cool, let's stick with that. And then everyone just started calling me, hey penguin, go get me a beer. Hey penguin, are you cooking tonight? Hey penguin. And that's just how it was from there on out. I was always known as the penguin, and then it just stuck with me.
Nice.
Yeah. Stuck for me from childhood, basically. But then, like I said, I did the worked with people with mental disabilities. That's when I segue into the man here.
All right.
The myth, the legend.
So you were dancing naked on the internet before prom.
Did you find it?
I was.
No.
I might be able to get it.
Now we're all gonna research and try to find this.
I had a lot of nicknames, but none of them stuck.
All right.
Just trying to kill this dead air here. Because
I
we're all staring at our phones.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to find the video.
just saw the. Oh, here we go.
You found it?
Yeah. No audio because
They stripped it.
they stripped it. So the audio. There's me dancing half naked.
He actually dubbed the song over top of it after he took.
I know.
it
I
off
do
the
have a
air.
copy of it somewhere on my computer. But that's me in 12th grade. What a sexy piece of shit I was.
Yo, do we have still the same rules? I can go use the restroom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where's it?
No, I changed the rules.
Then I'm
No bathroom.
Then I'm pissing on your floor.
Now, I have a question for now. I met your mom
Yes.
and your grandmother,
Indeed.
your father.
Ooh, fun guy.
Now, I don't want to come off as insensitive or racist or not PC, but your mother and your grandmother
Are fairly white.
yes, very white, and you have a little hue. You have a hue to you.
Fucking hue. I've never heard it said like that about,
I only use
about
that-
me, but I'm so loving it.
I only use it because the blue hue. Because you like
because I love that
yeah, because
clip.
you like that clip.
Yeah, I do have a light bluish hue to me. Yeah, so my dad is full-on Puerto Rican.
Okay. I was gonna say Hispanic or Samoan.
Yeah, I always get Samoan.
I get Samoan because we're wrestling fans,
Yeah.
and you're kind of in the wrestling business.
Since I've ever been a part of the wrestling business, I've got that even from the
Yeah.
Samoan dynasty. Like, are you part of my family? Like, no.
I wish.
Yeah, I wish. I claim it. Trust me.
Oh, I should. Okay.
So, yes, he wasn't really in my life very much. I do have vague memories of my father from my childhood.
Are you talking about AKC translation?
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah.
You could have been Rhino's son.
Could have been.
We talked about the banging
Had
beers.
she met at the right? I think had it been not.
I said that to her when I met her.
Really?
Yeah, she started losing. She like ran like laughing.
She gets very embarrassed by it.
I said, so she said, you look really familiar. I said, I'm the guy who did the banging beers with them. I'm the other podcast guy. She goes,
Yeah.
oh. I said, yeah, you called into my show and we talked about how you got gored. Mm-hmm. And she started laughing. I said, and that makes so much more sense now because last time Rhino was here, you wore those skin tone pants. And she ran away. She's like, get away from me. And she ran away.
That's brilliant.
In fact, he told her today, do not call in. We do not want you on the show.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, she's funny.
Yeah.
She
so
probably wants you call in.
the story though that I have with that, and I don't know how true this is, but apparently my father had to flee Puerto Rico at the time because they were not a sovereign nation at this time. But apparently he was in pretty like deep with the Puerto Rican mafia on the island.
He's a mobster.
So he had to leave the island or face like some sort of hit, I guess. Yeah, fun story. But then he was like,
This is all new to me.
yeah, I've never told you this. I've never told a lot of people this. But that was the most interesting thing about my father.
I think you're good to use the bathroom then. She just came down.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. He's in and out. He is on Facebook now, and I sometimes he'll be like, "Love you, son." I'm like, "Love you too, Dad." And it is what it is.
Yeah. I was always curious. I was like, because obviously I didn't know if like I don't want it sound weird, but like I don't know if like adoption was a thing or like the dad not being around.
Yeah,
because my wife, obviously, people see my wife
Right.
and they see her family, and she's obviously they're a white and she's not,
Right.
and then her father was Vietnamese.
Okay.
So, and her father was actually a refugee from the country.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, kind of not similar, but I mean she kind of goes through the same thing where people see her, they see her family, and they're like, "What happened here?
Right.
You're not white."
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm technically half Puerto Rican,
Yeah.
a quarter Miami Indian, and a quarter white.
Yeah.
Whatever white that is.
Yeah. The white is just a broad spectrum.
It really is.
You're like German, Irish, English.
It might be Welsh due to the last name. It might be Scottish. So it depends on where that lineage.
You got to take one of those DNA tests, and they're just going to send you a book.
I know. I'm like friggin' African or something. Like,
they're gonna send you a book this thick.
Yeah.
They're like, this is everything you are.
You are literally from every nation.
You are a
know?
melting pot.
Because I figure if I'm Native American Indian, Native American Indians aren't actually native. They came here from the Bering Strait, which is actually Asia.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I guess I'm Asian too.
Yeah. I feel you. I got tiny eyes too.
Oh yeah, that's the worst. Like, all my life, it's like you're fat and you're Asian. I'm like I'm one of those.
You look like you could be related to Follow Ball.
Yeah, well, that's what I told him when I interviewed.
We're cousins.
Him. Like, man, we're like brothers, you and me.
He's a cool dude. I'm a big fan. I'll tell you what. I've been slacking on watching my Impact, but PPW made me an Impact fan.
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of their roster. Not so much else about them.
Yeah, their roster's cool. Like you could tell their roster's having fun.
Absolutely.
That '80s throwback show
That was cool.
was fucking amazing.
Loved it.
It might have been the best
I'm inspired.
the best show I seen all year from any wrestling company.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I hope they come back more. I would love to see more Impact stuff.
So is it my turn, big guy?
It's on you.
Yeah, so we learned about your dad.
The Eye of
All
Sauron
right, so
is on you now. Bro.
that's the beginning of it. So I guess my path into this world of entertainment started in high school. Well, I've always been a fan of like movies and TV. Literally dictated
That's
my
our
life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not entirely. My life and personality comes from TV. My morals comes from TV.
His comedy
My
comes from
love for dysfunctional relationships is Ross and Rachel from Friends. Like I grew up.
I was
and
never
I'm
a
like,
Friends fan.
I was a huge fan, but only because I'm looking at Ross and Rachel, and they're like, "Oh, well, they're this. This is the ideal. This is what love is." And I'm like, "Cool. Love is being in love but never actually having it. Great." I learned a lot from Star Trek. Like that's where my love of knowledge and pursuit of like learning things came from. So come high school,
Were you guys both always big wrestling fans?
I was not.
I was.
So I didn't care for wrestling at all until one day he's a cousin of mine, but he was raised like an older brother. He was watching wrestling, and he would watch it from time to time, and I never cared for it.
What time frame is this?
So this is 2001. 2001, Ric Flair.
End Attitude Era?
The very end of it.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there like, man, can this show freaking end already? And then Ric Flair comes out, tells Vince McMahon, your kids just sold me half of your company. And then Vince is like shocked. And then I'm like, oh, this is dramatic. I love this. When's this on again? Okay, next week, I'm there. And ever since, up until about 2007, I watched wrestling religiously. 2002, you saw my promo. Well, 2002, I attended my first wrestling show. 2003, I met the dude who taught me absolutely everything about the business. I was setting up rings, taking them down, meeting the wrestlers. They were coming back to my house after shows for food and parties. I got to meet people like King Kong Bundy, Tito Santana, the $1 Million Man, Jimmy Snuka, all these guys that took a little bit more of an interest in me than they probably should have and mentored me in a way to where I really wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. So my mom gave me $2,000, and then I had other savings and such, and we paid for the wrestling, and I started training, and I was also doing theater at the same time. So I was torn. I only started doing theater because I had a crush on the drama teacher's South Korean exchange student.
Asian baby.
Yeah, man.
I feel you. My wife. Asian girl.
I started going to help take down the sets and move the sets around during the play, and then I fell in love with that. So the reason I fell in love with wrestling was the drama, and then I fell in love with theater because of the ability of creating something from nothing and then making something absolutely amazing.
Yep.
His theater used to annoy me because he would sing everything. He used to be, his life was like Disney. He would just sing everything.
I take pride in things that make people happy.
I love it. I love it about him.
So high school came to an end. Wrestling was this possibility. I had separation anxiety, hardcore, from leaving all my friends that were in the theater program, and then they all left and they all went to do their own thing. And I was lost, man, because, like, that was my family. Like, I didn't have a great family life. My mom was, like, she worked all the time. My grandmother did the same, didn't have a father. So, like, this was the first group of people that accepted me and into this big group. Like, I had my best friend at the time, Steve Frymore, and it was just me and him. But then 11th grade rolled around, and it was me and all these people. And we all shared this same love. So high school ended and I was destroyed. I lost all my confidence and everything. That bled over into the wrestling, and I was hypercritical of myself. I'm just like, I can't do this because I am not successful on my own. I have nobody and I'm lost. So I gave up. And I started working at Circuit City. I found a new family of people that I really enjoyed working
City
with.
family.
Yeah, it was my Circuit City family. Like, the manager was like the foul-mouthed grandmother that I actually have.
Savage.
I hooked up with like every customer service rep. So like, it was just a great time. And then 2009 hit. They went out of business and I lost my family again. So that sucked because I had no skills, because during that time I met a girl who had made me fall in love with her. And she had mentioned to me once, like, hey, I really wish you weren't going away to college in 2 weeks. I'm really going to miss you. I wish you were staying here. So my dumb ass is like...
Dropped out of college.
I was like, fucking college is stupid. This love thing, that's real.
I want vagina.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm going to stick here with you.
It's Circuit City.
I mean, we'll work in Circuit City. You can come live with me. And what would come to happen is she would start doing weed. I started doing weed. Like, do weed? Do we do weed?
Smoke.
You're smoking the weed.
We were snorting marijuana.
Right. Well, that's where it progressed to. My dumb ass, in a way to please her, I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, this weed stuff's pretty cool. But is there anything like...
Cooler?
More? Yeah, like, what's cooler than weed? And she's like, I know this guy that could get us some coke. And I'm like, oh man, I remember when I was a kid, my mom was addicted to coke. My dad, like, was addicted to cocaines and all the other stuff. Right. So I'm like, in my mind...
Were you the chubbiest guy ever on coke?
I probably was, dude. So I'm like...
Because everyone talks about when you do coke and you get really skinny.
That's why his heart today says, just stop. Just stop it.
Artie Lang was like, he was always saying I was the fattest guy on meth, or the fattest guy on heroin, or the fattest guy on coke.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's there, like, literally doing her makeup, and I'm in my... She says this thing about we can get cocaine, and I'm like... Cool. Inside, I'm like, oh, this is fucking stupid. And then she gets the coke, and I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, I'm good. And she like puts some on her finger, and she's like, are you sure you don't want to do this with me? I'm like,
give me all the coke.
I'll fucking do it. I'll fucking do it. So like I start doing that, and we're doing this together. The one thing I told myself I would never compromise, I would never do, because I've seen where this gets people. I fucking did it because I'm like, I'm in love, and whatever she says is great because I'm just lost. So we're doing coke. She starts fucking other dudes. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. She starts fucking other dudes, and like to the one point where she like ended up like fucking her stepbrother in my hallway while I was sleeping. It was weird, right? Like, that's your brother.
Just like Friends.
Right. Yeah. Just like Friends.
Where everyone's doing coke and fucking their stepbrothers in the hallway.
I feel like this is going to Game of Thrones.
Just like that show, fucking Friends.
Like
oh my God, you are living the life of Friends.
So, yeah. This is Friends on Netflix.
This is HBO Friends.
So yeah, it got weird. I'm really telling you details that you don't even need to know. But
It's funny. I like it.
it got so weird to the point where, like, oh man, I just want to tell you all my stories now.
It's your platform. Go for it.
I'm just like staring at you. This is great.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, it got weird to where, like, now we're partying with a bunch of drug dealers. We partied with this guy that brought in exotic reptiles. So
I'm
like
out. I'm
this
out.
dude brings in, and we're like all just wrecked.
Like a late night TV interview.
Yeah. No, this dude comes in my house with like this bucket of reptiles and like this baby alligator. And I'm like, oh, remember that movie Jackass? Could that alligator bite my nipple? Let's do it. So I had like a baby alligator like attached to my nipple. Like,
Is that why you have no nipple?
That's why I have no nipples.
Nice.
You have no nipples.
No, I have nipples.
I was like, pop it off.
show me your tits, fat boy.
What was that? This is the end. I'm gonna fuck those tits, fat boy. The devil.
Yes.
He has given you.
Give me back my own money.
What's yours is
So
mine.
yeah, it ended up getting crazy to where, like, she ended up stripping. She ended up doing all sorts of stuff.
I love strippers.
Crack. I love strippers.
He
too.
loves
Trust
strippers.
me,
We should go to a strip club together.
bro. Let's do it.
I have to get permission.
I need.
Your wife's not a fan of strip clubs?
No. Plus, I also have to get that signed by an adult.
Yeah, like a permission slip. Yeah, no, I have problems with strippers.
I'm not allowed to go to strip
I
joints.
love them.
Really?
haven't been to a strip joint.
Yeah,
That's
8
because
years
that's
now?
because she probably thinks that strip clubs that.
She
like,
thinks I get horny and hot at a strip club.
I mean, you do.
I do.
yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
point.
it's kind of a thing that-
Realistically, you're not allowed to.
And I
even
want to bang those girls.
Realistically, you're not allowed to breathe or touch on them. So
well,
Whoa.
you haven't been to a strip club with me.
not the places I'm
Obviously,
thinking.
if you've never been to Buck Rubs.
I literally.
Buck Rubs is nothing. I haven't been to Beavers.
Oh God, I subscribed to their Facebook page though. I wanna
Mustang
go-
Sally's is back open.
Oh Jesus!
Oh,
But every time I went to that strip club, like I literally walked in there once. My friend Dan and I, and we were there 5 minutes. I went back to the VIP dance.
I've never went back in the back.
That's where I did my magic, whatever that magic was.
So
at
here's
the
the
time.
thing. I know.
Cocaine.
Yeah. Every time I was at a strip club, the girl, like at the time, most of the time I went, I had really long hair.
Okay.
And as soon as the girls came out and they see me sitting there and I had the beard with the long hair, they would jump off the stage and come right to me, and I'm like, all right, can you go away? It's getting weird, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they're like, you gonna come in the back? And I was like, no. Like, listen, if you want to do a dollar dance and then get the fuck out, cool. But if you take me to the back and you're like, and my penis comes out, I don't want to do that. I'll turn to Bert Kreischer. I'm not gonna cheat my wife. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing that. So I just don't go in the back because I go to scummy places, like not scummy, but places where rumors stuff happens in the back.
Yeah.
Or like that doesn't happen at Buck Rubs, from what I was told. It's
No, it
like
absolutely does.
Oh,
Really?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, well, yeah.
Especially if they don't have a ride home.
yeah.
And that's where I come in. Yeah. I've literally pulled a lot from there. But then, to be fair, I dated a girl who worked there and was very well known. And then from there, she left, but I still kept coming back.
What do you feel about a buffet at a strip joint?
I wouldn't. I mean,
Are you going back to my joke?
I'm trying to.
Son of a bitch.
where's the one in Wilkes-Barre?
No,
I don't know about
Teasers.
that.
Teasers,
there
like,
was the
like a
Divas
dollar
over
burger.
in-
You can
yeah,
get.
It's
Divas.
brilliant. Yeah.
Divas in Reading, right?
My God.
They have a. He's like, let's go to the buffet and go see some chicks. I'm like,
It'd be great.
what? I don't know about food being around
I just
this.
thought it'd be cool to have like a breakfast
You're like-
buffet.
That's not what I think about.
You're eating wings and she comes up. You're like, oh,
Or better yet, they have corn dogs and you're sitting there, you're munching on a corn dog in a very sexual way.
it's like you like corn dogs. Oh.
And then takes the dog off the stick.
Yeah, she just hands you the stick back.
And then I'm like,
She didn't even chew that.
You're such a smut. But, yeah.
Smart, thanks. It's 2019, right? Oh, it's not.
No, it's 2020.
It's a new decade. Let's
You can't
start new
say
things.
smut.
No, it's a brand new rule book.
It's a brand new decade.
We're writing that shit tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, we're not
Doing
teaching
cocaine
gay.
back in 2000, whatever.
Listen. I don't judge. If my wife was comfortable off the strip and she's like, "I'm gonna bring home a couple grand a night," I'd do it, baby.
That's what I
As
said.
long as I can buy equipment,
That's
I'm
what
cool.
I said. That's
Daddy
what I said,
Daddy
man.
needs new microphones.
Needs a new soundboard.
Sure, 7Ds are $400 a piece. I'm trying to get those nice mics.
I said, go ahead and be a
Pay for this
stripper
Tesla.
because you're making $1,000 a night. She was making $1,000 a night. I was like, this is cool. This is great. You're buying me Subway.
I mean, it's a $5 footlong.
True story, though. I was like, but we had to walk there.
Who says that dudes have to be the breadwinners?
But
I'll be a sugar. I'll find a sugar mama tomorrow.
and ultimately that and like probably crack was the demise of that relationship. Because I remember one night specifically.
It's like you tried
I don't
Coke.
know where this story is going. I don't know if I want to say it on a podcast, but I'm going to do it, and please feel free to edit it out. She goes to Philly one night, comes back, talking about her escapades in Philadelphia to somebody on the phone, and we're both drunk and wrecked, and she just doesn't realize I'm also listening to this conversation. So she's like, oh yeah, my friend Lily fisted me in the ass. And I'm sitting here like, I'm a very visual person. So
Yes.
I'm picturing this.
His brain is a paintbrush.
And you're like,
Yeah, I'm looking at my hand.
you just ruined my fit.
I'm looking at this hand. And I'm just like, man, if I pull this out, like, I hope you retract. But my picturing was like, I didn't picture it retracting. And I'm like, you got to leave. You got to leave. You got to leave my house. And
Imagine.
I literally kicked her out of my life over anal fisting.
because in your
Most dudes
visual,
have been like,
she had a butthole
yo,
this
I'm
big.
down.
Yeah, because I couldn't picture it not that
Most
big.
dudes have been like, yo, I'm down. He's like, go home.
No,
Bye. You're out.
Anal
See ya.
fisting, hard limit. Hard limit.
But leave Subway sandwich money on the table.
I
where
didn't
you
know
go.
my limit, and it was
anal fisting.
it was up to your elbow and your butt,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't edit that. That's great.
and that's staying in.
That's cool.
I don't edit anything. That takes time. I got 3 more shows in the bank I got to do.
So yeah, there was that. That was a part of my.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah. If you ever wanted to know what happened in our basement, Mom, that's what happened.
Was it weird telling the story, staring at your grandmother flipping you off?
No, she was there. She knew.
I feel privileged because I know her.
Yeah.
You know?
I got a picture with her. I'm
That's
happy.
awesome. I don't have a picture there.
So then after your...
So after that, like, dude, like, it was like this soul searching thing. Like, I worked in a factory for 2 weeks. I said, "Fuck this! This is like hard work."
Yeah,
so
I've been in factories like my whole
I
life.
left that. I found Circuit City. Not Circuit City. I left that. Sears started selling TVs. Hated that. Went to work as a fat person at Dick's Sporting Goods selling fitness equipment. Pause for joke. There. Yeah. So
Oh, actually, I shouldn't.
yeah.
No, first one's the best.
Yeah, brilliant. So, fat guy selling fitness equipment, where I met.
We're turning into Howard Stern Jock in the fucking 90s. All right, sorry, guys.
I literally quit that job on the spot.
That could have worked too.
We should have went there. But
Next time.
So I really stepped back and I was like looking at my childhood and what had meaning to me, and not to kind of like call my mother an asshole or anything on whatever we're
Listen,
on.
sometimes you go through spots with your parents.
So she had this issue where she took advantage of supports that the government offered. Not like welfare or anything, but like...
You're going to get slack for this.
I am, but it's true. She took advantage of these things. Like, they had this thing called respite care, where they would take your kid if you were like, it was just too much for you. Don't know why the air quotes are coming out. But if it was
We could do devil ones. Do devil to close.
too much to handle, they would take your kid for a weekend and put him in a foster family.
Yeah.
And then,
That's respite care.
yeah, that was respite
That's
care.
definitely respite care.
So when
Glad my parents didn't know about that.
when respite care was a thing,
It's more for mentally challenged people.
Oh.
To be honest with
I
you.
was not
Yeah.
mentally challenged.
Yeah.
Although I was diagnosed with all these things that were false diagnoses.
Well, we also, being 32 years old,
Yeah.
our generation was like, let's put every kid on Ritalin.
Exactly, and that's where I was. I was like right at the end of Ritalin into the Adderall. The Adderall actually caused me to have problems that I didn't really
I'll never
have.
do that for my son, by the way.
Well,
if
don't.
they ever come to me and
Oh
say
my
he
god!
needs Ritalin,
Every
he needs Adderall,
literally,
I will never.
I remember being in elementary school, and they bring us all into a room, and they would fucking. It was crazy. They checked your head for lice, they checked your spine for scoliosis, and then they gave you an aptitude test. And if that aptitude test, or if the teachers felt like, see, our school was grouped into like smart kids, semi-smart kids, kids that are just bad and disruptive and funny, like the class clowns, and instead of like co-integrating kids, they would just be like, put all the smart kids in one class, put all the middle kids in that class, and all the bad kids in their own class.
Yeah.
So I wasn't a bad kid, but I was a quiet kid, and I didn't talk. I didn't really like.
And they automatically thought that you were bad.
Yeah, I didn't talk. I got picked on. I got bullied. I got beat up, and I was really emotional. So I'd be like going to the teachers. Like I was very like I wore my heart on my sleeve. So I was like, "Yo, they're gonna beat me up." Like I'd be like crying and upset, and they'd be like, they didn't want to deal with me. So my grades sucked because I was afraid to fucking like because in class like it was just I was always getting fucked with.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't interested in the subject, I wasn't gonna learn it. That's just how I always
That's
was.
exactly how I was.
So they're like, well, there's something wrong with him because he's not passing science or literature, and I don't care about that subject. But realistically, I could tell you every single wrestler from the fucking 80s to now. I could tell you every NASCAR driver, every football team. Like, if I'm interested in the subject, I will retain it.
Right.
But if I'm not into it, so they're like, oh, we're going to put this kid on Ritalin. And then they went to my parents and like, we're not doing that. And they're like, no, we strongly recommend. And then they were pumping every kid.
Now, there are some kids that do need it.
Yeah.
There are some kids.
But they were just trying to get every kid
Yeah.
on that because it was making money for the pharmaceutical.
I just think they were experimenting.
Yes.
They were
Yeah.
trying to see
No,
if
they
this
were
actually
pumping
does work.
Welcome to the opioid epidemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it all goes in.
Yeah, every
in
kid-
that
It's
era.
funny because
Yeah.
most of them people that were on Ritalin now,
Right.
or
Well,
to this day, are now
that
opioid.
time
Yeah.
frame where that was happening was also.
Did your
the
kid
time frame.
did your school give fluoride tablets every day too?
I was just getting ready to say that. I used to get
Yeah.
that all the time.
That
I would
was-
never take it. I would spit it in
all
the
the time.
urinal.
Yeah, that wasn't like a.
I took it 'cause it tastes like
happened,
cherries
but it
on
wasn't
fat.
like a forced thing.
It was
They said it was
delicious.
for your teeth.
Mine was delicious.
I was like, I don't believe you.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was bullshit.
But we have toothpaste nowadays, and they now started to pump.
They would literally hand Dixie cups out of fucking pills to kids in school.
I remember those. I do. We used to have them all every morning. Every morning you came in, make sure you had your fluoride tablet. Putting your coat up in your cubby.
They would wait till after lunch for us.
Ours was in the morning, every morning, and
Yeah.
you had to take a drink with it because it was so chalky. It was disgusting.
They would give it to us right after lunch, and then they'd be like, "All right, it's right after lunch." The whole like so what they would do is like they'd come. You'd finish lunch. You would come to class. You would get your Dixie cup full of drugs, and then they would
Public school.
and then they would send you. They're like, okay, what we used to for our class, they'd be like, send everyone to the bathroom now, so they didn't ask to leave again because we were like stuck in a classroom all day. So we used to go to the bathroom, and you know how the urinals had that overfill drain. We would try to spit it and land it in that overfill drain, and then pee on the fluoride tablets. So I never took it every day because I was spitting it out. Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I'm woke. I'm fucking woke.
Fucking love.
I mean, I took it. It was delicious.
See? You're not woke.
Yeah. That's why you never believe any of the shit I say.
Yeah.
Never do either.
That's why we're on the same
So
page.
yeah, man. Back then,
Strippers and shit. So you're not that fluoride tablet fucked you up.
Yep, it really did.
You don't like strippers.
Well, I got a small Easter basket right now.
Is that good for your balls?
Probably not. Yours is not good either.
I have a huge Easter basket.
Easter basket is your balls.
We're not in the middle.
That's what I thought it sounded
That's what's
like.
great about me and him. Like we're not in the middle. There's no middle with us.
I'm just trying to figure out where we are here.
I think we're talking
Balls.
about our balls. now.
Okay.
Talk about our balls.
Your Easter basket.
So, yeah, no, speaking of emotional support, though, man, I, in an early age, felt like I discovered what love was, and I fell in love with this girl in elementary school. I was like, man, this is freaking love. Like, but then that distracted me from it.
She took advantage of your.
No. This was a different girl.
This is after stripper
This
fisting.
is way before that.
Oh.
This is like
We Tarantino'd.
Yeah, we went back.
Oh, okay.
This is like elementary school, like fourth,
This is
fifth,
before the fisting.
fifth, and sixth grade. Like
The love of
Before
fisting.
the fists.
that sounds like a book.
I have a quick
The love
question.
of fisting.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Would she ever let you in her butt before she was fisted by a random chick in Philly?
No.
I mean, I don't know how much I want to divulge, but I mean, the tongue hit the butt a few times, so,
All right.
yeah, but never the
The Watt eats ass. You heard it here.
What a
first.
wonderful
Yes.
tea party.
Well,
Well, actually, if
I'd be more
I
upset
can, like it gets weirder than that.
because
that-
I'd be upset. There's like
There's more?
if you weren't allowed to touch her butt at all, and then she was taking the whole fist by Stephanie in Philly.
Right? Yeah. Well, it comes like it's like a gradual thing, like an in the moment.
I feel like
type
we
of
should
thing.
move
Not
this.
listen. I already mark it when I upload it. Not suitable for kids, so we're good.
Okay. I feel like we should move this, though, to, like, can we call the Stephanie from Philly?
Oh yeah.
How did that feel?
Yeah, how'd it feel to be wrist deep in my?
And destroy a man's life.
No, obviously Stephanie's not her real name. I just made that up.
No,
'cause-
but yeah, there was this thing that would happen, and this is where the butt tonguing came in. Have you ever heard of sexomnia? It's like insomnia, but for sex. It's like sleepwalking, but for sex. So this is like
I never heard of this until I met him, by the way.
I can't sleep in the same room with a woman, and like Rape is not cool, but there's these like hormones and pheromones that like mix weird when I'm like asleep in my brain, I guess.
I think we're the same people.
Oh, really?
I swear to God.
I wake up in the middle of sex.
Yes.
Weird. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Found it.
My wife, so the first time I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah.
And my wife, she's like, "Oh my God, it was so good last night."
You're like, what?
And I go, "What?" And she goes, "What?" And I go, "What do you mean?" I'm like, she goes, "You woke up and you were super passionate. Like, you're not the same." She goes, I'm not saying I'm not a good lover, right? But I'm not the same lover.
You were better than you ever been.
Right? I was. Because also, obviously, like, I also suffer from joint pain. So it's not, like, my game has gotten worse as I get older because my body's not, like, I'm in pain. Like, my back starts bothering me, the whole nine, right? So she's like, yo, like, it was fucking unreal. And I was like, I wasn't there for it. She goes, what do you mean? She goes, I'm like, I don't remember any of it.
It wasn't me. Then who was it?
Right? So she's like, Tony, you were fucking, like, it happened. And I was like, I'm like, are you fucking with me? And she goes, no. I was like,
how do I get this?
I was like,
can you track this to me?
And I was like, I swear to God, I don't recall this at all.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've been together like 13 years, so it happens sometimes. And she'll be like, we had sex last night. And she enjoys it because I guess I'm awesome when I'm better at sex when I'm sleeping than when I'm awake. But there's times where I've woken up midway through, and I'm just confused.
Yes,
and I'll be like,
"Yep," and that's how I knew it was an issue. Like I would wake up halfway through, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Okay.
By the way, you don't need to hit your soundboard. Those were perfect noises.
Yeah, that's a real thing. I also, there's no sleepovers at the Tony house.
Yeah, I can't do it. I refuse.
Can I just say, yesterday was mad depressing for me. Today is like the best.
Yeah, that's a legit thing.
So I'm glad I divulged that because I've never met anybody else.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I always call it, in sleep. I always tell people, I'm like, you know how you sleepwalk?
You guys are starting your own Facebook group. This is awesome.
Yeah, you know how you sleepwalk? I call it sex walk.
Yeah, sex walking.
Sex walking.
Fucking this like Star Wars.
It happens.
My dog Bear.
Yep, sexomnia. It's a real thing.
Now here's the thing, like, and this is probably getting way too deep in the rabbit hole because I don't want people to overthink my sexomnia. Like, I've never ever woke up with a wet dream. Never had that situation.
No, never ever.
Never woke up like masturbating. Never did anything weird like that.
Yeah.
And I think it
seems weird, but it's probably actually a normal thing. I've never had a wet dream either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want people to think I'm a freak show.
Same here. No. You have,
but
you don't have sexomnia.
Yeah.
You're not part of our group.
You're a fucking weird.
I mean, I still have thought and brain activity.
I still think about the puss.
Even though I'm married, and that's like, what is that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Interesting.
Okay, so keep going.
There was that. Where do I begin? Anyway, so
realistically too, like I have slept in the same room with other people and never had sex. So I'm just putting that out there. That is like,
oh no, I have too, but like I don't know. I'm just scared of it.
It's probably
I'm scared that it'll
to the
happen
person
again.
that you love the most or like the most.
I hope so. I fucking sure hope so.
It only happened
Which
with
I
her,
won't sleep
and we
in
were
this bed with him.
cohabitating. So
yeah,
maybe that's a thing. But
dude, we're not bunking, by the way.
No, we have.
You wake up,
and it was the best I've ever.
Listen, we've bunked together, and I have slept nude, so I don't even care.
In front of me.
She slept naked in front of you.
In front of me. He's like, don't look. I'm just gonna go pee.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go pee.
It's 3:00 in the middle. Yeah, what are you doing? Don't look, dude. I'm naked.
I sleep naked.
What was it?
Oh,
I sleep naked. It was at her.
That might be a problem. See, I don't sleep naked anymore because of that.
I didn't sleep naked back then.
But it doesn't matter because I've already slept with full pants on and still woke up having sex.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I only discovered sleeping naked like 3 years ago, and it's been like the best thing ever.
I'm always afraid that, like, what if a fire happens or someone breaks in the house?
They're just gonna have to deal with it. I mean, you saw my milkshake video. There is no shame here.
Yeah,
you know. So yeah,
I have a 5-year-old son, so I can't sleep naked.
Yeah,
who likes to walk in on people in their showers?
He does, and while you're sleeping too. And not to mention, he'll do a Macho Man Randy Savage off the top of the rope to you, and you're like, why'd you do that, dude?
Nice.
I hate you, but I love you. I hate you. You know.
So anyway, we had a digital multimedia class in high school, which actually that's how I learned to do green screening, editing, all that stuff.
Thank God.
Never really used that. Then I did the theater and I did the wrestling, and then I put it all away for the reasons I mentioned earlier. Fast forward literally like to from 2006 to 2015, I meet this guy. And then, actually, even before that, 2013, I met Kevin Smith. And
the Kevin Smith.
And this is when
my personal hero.
Yeah,
so this is why you have such a heartfelt review of the Jay and Silent Bob movie.
Because I feel like
you just watched it.
I feel like
Was it good?
I liked it. He didn't.
I liked he closed out a lot of the storylines from all the other movies, which was sweet. But I felt as far as a comedian and a storyteller,
Favorite Kevin
given
Smith
up.
movie?
Dogma.
Yeah, that's mine too.
Mine's
Dogma and Clerks.
That's my number 2.
And Clerks, yeah. Mine's
Clerks
my
is
two.
Clerks is very actually Dogma's my 3.
Okay.
Clerks is my 2. Chasing Amy is number 1.
Brilliant. I love
Yeah.
That's
probably our top 3.
If you have a chance, watch the new one. They do a closeout to Chasing Amy. That's absolutely
So
beautiful.
I sold. I don't know if we talked about this before. I had a whole bunch of like collectibles and like weird nerdy shit. I sold all of it to get the start of my podcast. The only thing you're looking at right now that is the start of my podcast in that money is the lights.
Wow.
Since then, I've upgraded the mics, the soundboard. Actually, the cables are the same too. The cables were part of it. But yeah, so I remember just like being a Kevin Smith fan, and I was like, if I really want to do this, sometimes you have to sacrifice what you love, and hopefully it'll come back tenfold later.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So when I met him, like I had already started listening to the podcast, and I started to really like this podcast thing. I met him. I met Jason. And
Where at?
At the Baltimore Comic Con.
Okay.
And it really fueled my love for it. Like my friends at the time, I was like, dude, we should start a podcast. We should do this. And it was like, oh, cool, yeah, let's do it. And then we never did it.
Yeah.
So when I met him, we start to talk about my list. Because at this time, I had been homeless twice in my life. And I was just getting off of... I was actually sleeping in my car, traveling from Delaware, where I was living with a girlfriend's family, and traveling from Delaware to Reading to train for this job I had just gotten at his job. And during these week-long trainings, I'm literally sleeping in my car behind the building. Like, after everybody left, I pulled in the building, fell asleep in the car, came back, and I was just like this. I was just in a bad spot. But then I started working with him, and when I started working with him, I showed him these lists that I have of things that were important to me to achieve.
Hopes and dreams. Let's start out with PlayStation. We talked a lot about PlayStation.
There were goals that I wanted to achieve, but there were also things that I wanted to gain that I had lost.
Yes.
And these things served as an inspiration for me to do things well. And I wanted to mark these things. So it was like, I got a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
I got these games that I wanted for it.
I seen a dude that was actually like the same as me. Like, I work really good with goals in front of me, and he had goals in life that he wants to check off. And that's basically how I was running my life anyways. I wanted to get off alcohol. I wanted to get off smoking pot. I wanted to be a normal citizen in life, I wanted to have that, the man, wife, family, picket fence, the dream that everyone always talks about. So these were goals that I had, and that's what I seen in him. And I'm like, yo, I got to strap my
strap on,
and
fuck this dude.
I mean, I got to fist this guy,
hard limit. But
You're like, okay,
yeah.
all right.
I also was coming out of a lot
all
of...
right.
I had a lot...
Maybe.
Yeah.
No way.
I mean, his fist, that's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big fist.
Yep.
That's scary.
Well, you remember I told you there was this chick in a wheelchair who wanted me to fist her, and I was just like...
She literally was going to give him money
Yeah, to fist her, and I was
to
like...
fist her. He got Chinese food money for this girl.
Yeah, she PayPal'd me money for Chinese food.
He was going to buy him Wicked Turtle equipment. Like,
She didn't do it? You didn't do it?
I was just like, I don't think I could do it.
I would have
Like, I'm
done it.
looking
he
at my
looked down
fist,
and
and I'm
said,
like,
I
still
feel
hard.
bad. He had a conscience.
It's a hard
He's like,
limit.
I feel bad
I would have
for
called
you.
Heidi. Like, Heidi,
Yeah.
I'm going to get a new camera. I'm not... My dick won't touch, but I'm going to punch the shit out of this chick's insides.
She can't feel it,
Yeah. She's in a wheelchair. It's fine. Like, I'm making a wish right now. It's a Make-A-Wish Foundation.
God.
But at the time when I met him, I was like...
You could have been the first write-off for Wicked Turtle Like, you made a wish.
It's fucking great.
But when I
I used
first...
to work with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, actually.
I seen him like I seen my wife, like a friend that I can talk to, and we both have the same interests, and we have the both same goals and ambitions and stuff like that. And that's just we just started. I was like, let's turn the camera on. This is gold.
So,
this is magic because we work well together. On the camera.
It does make a lot of correlation sense of why I've attached myself to you guys, and I respect what you guys do. You know, and especially you guys divulging this. Like for me personally, not a lot of my team, but certain people of my team and people I've attached myself to over the years have, and then people are like, why do you hang out with that person? Like, what do you mean? Like, oh, they're weird or they're this or that. Right. And I was like, I said, when you see me, I don't fake who I am. I am who I am. Absolutely. But a lot of people see me as very overconfident, sometimes cocky, sometimes asshole.
That's a good thing.
But I come off.
That's a good thing.
I come off as a certain type of personality, and then when I tell people like, I was an introvert. Like I didn't talk to people.
That was me as a kid.
I didn't fit in. I always looked for someone to accept me. The same way as you're saying. You know what I mean? Like where you went to a job and found a family. I was the same way. Like I had a big family. I just never felt like I fit in. And that's not bashing my family.
I was an only child. I didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah, I was for a long time. I was like, but so and this is not a knock to my family or to my parents, but I just never felt like I was accepted. Never. You know what I mean?
Feel that to this
and
day,
there's different things I can go into. Like my dad's side of the family, for a long time, I never knew them, so I felt like they just didn't like me. Like my mom's side of the family, I was the youngest, so I got picked on and bullied. And then I would go to school and get picked on, bullied, beat up. So I just never felt like I fit in. So then, as an adult, as I got older, and I stopped really giving a shit what people think, and I just do me. And then I find someone else who's like, I don't really go out to bars, or I really don't go out and see bands or shows or wrestling shows because I feel like I'm like, dude, come hang out with me. Because if you...
I need to hang out with you because I haven't done that in years.
I will literally, and this is not like, I don't have a mentality like this, so I don't want people to think that I walk in and I think I own the place. No. But I'm confident when I walk in somewhere.
You should.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are like, oh, you know all these people. Oh, yeah, because I've built amazing relationships with people. You know what I mean? Like I'm not so much of a follow the pack kind of guy. I forge my own path, but on the same token, I'm not afraid to take people on, because there's a lot of there's two different types of personalities. Where there's one who's like, I'm going to push my way solo and fuck all of you. I'm doing it myself. But my thing is Michael Jordan. So I like Michael Jordan.
Me too.
Michael Jordan's thing was, I can be LeBron. So there's LeBrons and then there's Michael Jordans.
I hate LeBron.
LeBron is the most physically gifted athlete that we've ever seen play the game of basketball. Michael Jordan is the most talented and skilled player we've ever seen play basketball. But the reason that Michael Jordan looked so amazing and skilled, he struggled for a long, long time in his early career where he couldn't get to a championship. He couldn't win the big one. And he realized, for how talented and how hard I work, I need people around me. Yep. I need people who either motivate me or who have the same mentality as me. And I find those people, and that's my goal to IwEP Network. And then I meet the Wicked Turtle Network. I meet other people who have that same mentality, and it motivates each other. Like, hey, you guys are really good at fucking editing. I've kind of done my research when it comes to, and I have the equipment for video and audio.
You're really good for
Let's
audio.
fucking team up. You know what I mean? Like, you're using video camera. I can fucking take your level to the next thing with a fucking 4K camera. You know what I mean? Like, and you know what I mean? We're only one SD card away from sharing with each other. Like, we're a lot of people, and it comes to either music, comedy, anything, where people are just like, no, they're my competitor. Fuck that. I don't want to work. I'm not about that. I'm about teaming with each other. Let's work with each other. Like, you're trying to interview fucking this guy. I'm trying to interview this guy.
That's why we built the network.
I can help you get to your goals, and you can help me get to mine.
You
Let's
just
fucking
touched
team
on why
up.
we built the network. That's exactly why we built the network.
And it's just never never really come to be a full thing yet, because of those mentalities of, well, this is my thing and it's branded my way, and you know, this is mine.
Listen, I have my brand, you have yours, but it doesn't mean we can't work together.
We can't work together.
What's funny about Penguin of the Watt is what you said. Like, I'm super overconfident. Like, I went into PPW like with so much confidence. I'm like, oh,
this is where we balance each other out.
What? Are you talking to him like that? That's, you know, like, I'm a firecracker. And he's like, no, dude, this is the business. This is the business. Like, the shit that just happened that we talked about before this even started. Like, I got on the phone, I was like, I want to bury this dude. And he's like, no, that's the business. You need to chill. And I'm like, I hate this business, like because it's,
Yeah.
it's such
So
a
I kind of have that mentality.
pricky
I have a little bit of both
Like, I'm
because
super
I really
confident
don't
that's my
have
thing.
that balance out person yet in my life. Like I do,
I
but
do.
I do, but I don't. Like I said, I have
you should see
four.
me at work right now.
I
don't
have
him
4
at work.
shows, and I have a lot of people who work with me, and they bring their own thing to the table, and then we meet to the table and work it. But I don't know if it's a lot of people are afraid to approach me with ideas. I want ideas, but I don't. For some reason, people don't bring them to me as much.
You have content creators and not content directors, basically.
Maybe I don't know. But
They
I love.
bring
I
you
love
content that you can talk about.
Yeah,
and
I
sit
love
there.
my team. I love my team, and I always tell my team, like, if you have something, please talk to me about it. Like, I'm very. This is not a dictatorship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
bureaucracy.
realistically, when I did this, I could have easily had bring in 4 or 5 people and be like, hey, if you want to do this, we each need to chip in this X amount of dollars and do this. And that's the way people market and do a business. But when I did it, I was like, I will sell everything I fucking love, buy everything I fucking need, do everything I can to get everything I have. And if you one day get a bug up your ass and you're like, well, I paid for this, see you later, I'm leaving. No, this is my shit. If you're not happy with the content, or I'm not happy with the way you do things, I'm sorry. I'll still be your friend, but I need to move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and
That's
I,
a good segue, by the way.
you know what I mean? And it's not.
Yeah,
And I think.
I have one backtrack a little bit, but then we're gonna get
Yeah.
into
So it just, I don't know. It's an interesting thing when you're at this type of process.
that. Yeah.
Tell us your backtrack. Because
So
this is a
my
great
backtrack
segue.
is I mentioned something that I kind of wanted to capitalize on in my journey that brings me to who I am. So the respite care thing, and also that evolved into putting me into certain placement facilities where I don't feel like I belonged. The therapist there didn't feel like I belonged. So I'm not going to blame my mom for these things, but it happened. But when I looked back on what I learned from those experiences, it was the 1 or 2 counselors that invested in the right kids who showed the potential to become somebody special. Those counselors that were there for me, who took the time to talk to me as a human and not as a child.
They weren't coming to just do their job.
They had a passion and a real.
Yeah, there's people who come to work every day that just do what they do to do it,
Right.
and there's people who come and actually buy into it that want to.
He actually trained me to do that at my job.
Well-
because I was super passionate about my
so
job.
what happened is, when I was soul searching, because I hated Sears, I hated Dick's. I love
Loves
Dick's.
dicks now.
Just hate fisting.
I just hate fisting. But it came to this point where I'm like, you know what? I want to work with kids. I want to help kids out who are challenged. So my friend connected me with one of his friends that he coached with, who was the director of Abraxas Academy. I went and I worked at Abraxas Academy, and I worked with youth.
Tough job, by the way.
It's probably the toughest.
Yeah,
I worked
100%.
with youth sex offenders. These are kids who sexually offended, but
But they were probably kids who were also sexually offended
right, and that's
or
where
are sexually molested.
that's where the humanity comes in. Like, a lot of the people can't deal with that because they're like, I know what you did, and that's gross. But I'm here like, bro, something happened to you. And, like, we need to learn how to live with that and become a better person. But in that, like, I was still lost. Like, I was still trying to figure out who I am. So I'm teaching these kids these things, and I'm so, like, invested in it that I didn't have a degree. But the counselors there, the master's level clinicians, saw, like, my
Your passion.
my passion and my ability to teach and learn these things. They sent me to get certified to teach these therapeutic courses. They got me certified to design therapeutic courses. So I teached and I designed these therapies for youth sex offenders, and also taught this thing called Men's Group, which was a packet of learning concepts of things that make you a man. Not necessarily a man, but a good grown-up human being. Things like integrity and respect and stuff like that. So going through that, going through the sex offender treatment, which I didn't really need, but I learned a lot about therapeutic concepts that I used to give myself therapy and learn to grow and become the person I want to be, which is why, like, I could kind of be like you, Penguin, where sometimes you fly off the handle and, you're like, my way is the highway, get the fuck out. Whereas I'm like, no, hold on. Like, you might have value in what you're saying, and I do too.
He's the reasonable one. I'm the passionate.
We have to find that
Super
middle
passionate.
ground because everybody has value based in their own experience.
I have no reason. He has tons of reason. Yeah.
So, like, and this is
Yin
how
and yang.
the Wicked Turtle's successful is because we can take the time, step back, and not have an ego. Because if we had an ego, it would be all about the Wicked Turtle all the time, and it wouldn't.
It would be
about,
the Penguin Network.
It would. It pretty much would be, and it wouldn't be about because we've fought. I mean, we have yelled, screamed, and swore at each other over these things, and eventually, I wouldn't say that I won out, but reason won out. I won. You know, sometimes you would. Like,
Can I ask a personal question?
yeah.
When you like, so when we first stepped in the PPW universe, was there any animosity or like, who are these guys?
He didn't know you guys existed yet, and I thought you guys were fucking awesome.
Wait,
Okay.
what?
So you didn't know,
I remember going to
'cause
shows.
I was the one who introduced you to them initially.
Yeah. So I remember going to shows and seeing you sit there, and you would be staring right at me.
Yeah,
And I was like,
I wanted to make a connection with you for
Yes.
about 2 shows before it actually happened.
and I remember looking at you, and I'm like, see the way and this is not a negative thing. This is just the way the human mind works, especially, and this is like that male toxicity.
Yeah.
Where I seen you, and I'm like, I don't want, like, when I messed and I said I'm coming. We were podcast, and I said we're going to PPW, and I tagged PPW.
Yeah.
And then I got an immediate message from Paul like, hey, we're really excited for you guys to come and like do a review of our show. And he was like, I just want to be very clear, like, you guys can't bring this, and I'm like, we're not bringing anything. And he's like, well, we have a podcast team. I was like, well, awesome. Like, I'm not coming to step on toes. I just want to come and enjoy a show. So then I was like, well, what does he mean by a podcast team? So then I researched you guys, and I remember, like, he stuck out. I'm not going to be like, he stuck out a little more. Maybe because you're brown, but he stuck out a little more.
Wow.
This
I have
happened when you were in the bathroom.
I have a brown wife. I'm allowed to say it. So we talked about it, and I remember going to the show, and at the time I was like, I hope they don't think I'm coming to step on toes. And even to this day, I still kind of, like, even though we're friends,
Yeah.
I try not to overstay. Like, I don't want to overstep anything.
What's funny is that my cockiness was like, "Well, never step on my toe,"
yeah,
because I'm already here.
Yeah.
I'm already right where I needed to be
Yeah.
in this situation.
Right.
Now, do I envy that you get to, like we were talking about, that you get to be more truthful in your review? Yes.
Yeah.
Like, we were very truthful in our review, and at the point, we do still consider PPW the best product out there.
it's high. It's very high. But
You know?
I'm very. I've
We
never
would just like.
I've never I've only experienced 2 indie programs.
Yeah.
I've only experienced Outbreak and PPW. I want to see Backbreakers. I want to see True. I want to see
Check out Atomic.
Atomic.
Atomic is cool.
Is it AXW? What's the Samoans?
WXW.
WXW.
C4. WXW
I
original
had a burp
in
there.
Miami.
I want to see all that stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I
check
mean. I personally, because of how close it is, and they do monthly shows, and Outbreak.
You're
took
stuck in, like, the hub of
and
indie
took a
wrestling
break.
right
now.
I didn't really go to anything else for a while except PPW, and
Like,
I
us, we
enjoy-
travel an hour just to go see good indie wrestling. Like,
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
the only hour I can actually give. In fact, I even tell my job that, hey, listen, I can't work this weekend.
Yeah.
And in fact, they're like, oh, well, could you maybe work one? No, I don't get home till like 3 o'clock in the morning. There's
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah,
You know, like,
and this I even said on my previous shows, and this is not a knock. This is not saying like I think I'm better than anyone, but like there's not many people who do 1 weekly show, let alone 4.
yeah, you do a lot of show.
You know what I mean? Like I work my ass off, and that's not saying that
We can't
like,
even find time to do any of our content.
Well, and
listen,
we-
it's
we
sacrifice.
do-
I don't see my wife as much. I don't make personal connections outside. I still try to go out and see shows and interact with people and do that stuff. It's a lot to it, and I'm working a 40-hour job on top of it. Like,
yeah, that's me.
people think I make money on this. Like people think this is like I have time to do all this because this is what, like, not at all.
The cool thing is that people think that.
Yeah.
You know, it means you're doing something right.
I walked out of a Dollar General and I seen a guy and he's like, "What's up, millionaire?" And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Well, you're the guy on YouTube." I'm like, "Dude, that's no." Like I'm there's a reason I'm shopping in Dollar General. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, don't knock them. They have great prices.
they do.
and
They
great
do an
products.
amazing job. But I'm not that. I'm not that guy. Like
Sponsor me.
I don't make a lot of money, but
That's my catchphrase.
yeah.
I'm very surprised
Sponsor
to
me.
know that because like for 2 shows before we actually like connected, I was looking at you, and I was because I was like, man, that dude kind of looks like. Mark
And I was
Wahlberg.
afraid to approach.
After I met you, I started watching.
So I literally would tell him, I'm
Well,
like, you know that guy
I
in the
miss him
crowd
here
with
and there,
tornado tank shirt that looks like Mark Wahlberg a little bit? You know,
I get
I'm
that a
like,
lot.
yeah. So I'm like, That's the guy from the tornado tag.
I was happy that somebody came up and said, "Hey, Penguin, let's get a selfie." I'm like,
yeah, no. So I wanted to
I did
connect
my
with
first
you on a
autograph last year.
collaborative level
Like,
for
what?
sure. It was never anything like animosity. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, these guys are good. We need to find a way to work with them.
Yeah.
I mean, we got together, me and him. We started I told him what I did, and I told him about the photography business, that I have some experience in video. Like, I didn't know anything about green screens. I learned it all from him. We strictly Final Cut guys. We're Macs, we're Apple dudes, because they have, let's be honest, they probably have the Final Cut's one of the best software.
It literally went from like filming stuff that we just liked. We would watch a movie and we're like, yeah, let's talk about this on camera.
We actually had a small news. It actually started Rants and Reviews. Was how we actually. It wasn't Wicked Turtle. At the time.
We did segments, but we ran from a basement. We ran from, my dining room, and then I'm like, yeah, let's get a green screen. Let's really up this. Then we got a green screen. We evolved everything to where I dedicated an entire room to being an actual green screen studio.
It's a studio.
He's now building an actual studio in a garage that's going to serve as Wicked Turtle
headquarters,
studios and Inspired Images photo studio.
Pumps.
For it. It's too many problems.
Are we making money doing any of this?
No,
absolutely.
It's
not.
all money that.
But we're putting
if I have extra money and the wife says, "Go ahead,"
You're laying the groundwork down.
Yeah.
Now, quick question: Are you guys strapped for time or anything?
I'm not.
All right. I have to take a break quick.
Yeah.
We'll say. So what I'm going to do is we're going to wrap this here, and what I want to do is we're going to stop the cameras because we're about like an hour and 45 in.
Okay.
I did this a couple weeks ago, and I kind of like this idea where instead of going like a 3 hour, you kind of keep it around an hour and 45 ish.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is we're going to take a break.
Sure.
And if you guys like this conversation, we're going to do a part 2.
Let's do it.
And we'll break it up into 2 parts because I want to keep talking because I think this is really good.
Yeah, I think
Agree?
we have a good place to pick up from the beginning of Wicked Turtle to now. So.
Yeah. All right.
We started with Rents and Reviews, and now the evolution.
Yeah.
All right. So you cool with that?
We'll pick up from there.
All right. So we're gonna wrap up here. I'm gonna play some outro music.
Cool.
And then we're gonna debut part 2 next week on IwEP
two,
Network.
The Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. My jungle love. O-E-O-E-O.
Living my life, just living my life, just living my life. It's my time. Just living my life, just living my life, just living my life. It's my time. Athletic at the peak of my life. Slipped a couple times. I was speeding on ice. Never took a risk. Then you cheating your life. You never took a risk. Then you cheating your life. It's a hole in my heart, probably never be filled. And part of me thinks it'll never be healed. I lost some of my family to the dope. Overflow my mind with positive vibes, that's how I cope. They ask if I stop, I tell them no. Speak foul on my name, clean your mouth out with soap. I'm crying right now while I'm writing this shit. I'm dying inside just from fighting this shit. Amidst all the darkness, I see light in this bitch. Give me one small spark and I'm igniting this bitch.